is.
Okay, so we are currently here at El Rodeo with Michelle. What's your last name?
Cook?
Michelle Cook. And I just found out that she actually drives Spec Miata, you know, as just for fun, just because she can. So I just wanted to ask her a couple questions. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good. So what is it about Spec Miata that caught your interest when you first kind of heard about it?
They were recommended to me because my other car that I was driving on the track was too big, too heavy, and didn't have enough horsepower.
Right.
So the woman who was my instructor refused to promote me because it was just not going to work. So she's like, you have to get another car. So she recommended a Spec Miata, and they're like 1,500-pound chassis, which is like nothing, basically. And they're like 175 horsepower, which doesn't sound like very much, but it's a lot in a little bitty car like that. And if you have like the right brake system in it, and shocks and all that kind of stuff, you can really get some serious speed out of those things. Plus, they're rear-wheel drive, so they drive a little bit better than the front-wheel drives. So what's cool about them is that they're so light that you don't have to brake nearly as much as you do like in a big heavy car like my Neon, which was 3,500 pounds, I think, which is entirely too much.
It still was pretty light compared to most cars.
50 horsepower, which is like nothing. The car just barely moves. So now I just hit the gas and I'm gone,
Nice.
So I love that car. I have some work to do on it. I have to get new shocks on it. And new brakes. I think I need new brakes.
You got the roll bar.
I have the roll bar. No, yes, I have the roll bar. And I need to get a sway bar. And that's in a trailer. So I have some work to do.
So Michelle, if you were to come across someone who's interested in getting involved in Spec Miata for the first time, what are some tips that you could recommend, some pitfalls to watch out for, and yeah, just what would you suggest?
Well, I think, one of the things that I was told is to get a 99, because those are like, I forget what the reason was, but those are like the best cars to get.
Okay.
99 and higher, and like I guess younger for lack of a better term. So 99 and later than that are good models. Don't get the ones with the flippy lights. You want to get the ones with the lights, the headlights that are just on the car. They don't flip open. You don't want to do that. And just be aware that if you get a rag top like I do, you have to have a roll bar.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is, and the reason you have a roll bar is because you're not protected if you flip the car over when you're driving, which you hope not to do, but it can happen. So,
Right.
And you also can't drive the car on the track without the. Well, let me back up. If you have a hard top, you don't need a roll bar. If you have a rag top, you have to have a roll bar. And it has to protect your head, so it has to be high enough that it's going to protect your head, and your head's not going to be above the roll bar because that wouldn't make any sense. But it can't be so high that the cover doesn't, that the rag top doesn't close.
Okay.
So there's that. You can find if you go looking for one, you're going to track the car. You're going to beat the hell out of it. So don't worry about what it looks like. I mean, if it's just for tracking purposes, don't worry. I mean, somebody tried to sell me a car. It was a Miata. He wanted like $3,500 for it. And I'm like, he's like, it's a beautiful car. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to beat the hell out of it. It's going to get road damage and, pebbles and stuff from the track are going to go flying all. I don't care what the thing looks like. But if you want a really nice one, then yeah, you want to look for that. I think we paid $4,500 for mine. Okay. Which is a really nice deal. And it only has like 100,000 miles on it, which is like
wow.
That car. They're what's nice about them is that even when if you really love to drive, they're awesome cars. I mean, they're not luxury cars. They're meant for people who like to drive. So, the other thing is if you want to track a car, it has to be a stick shift. Paddle shifters are accepted. I think they're cheating, but they're accepted. if you want to get into racing, you'll have to have a helmet. You should probably get shoes and driving gloves. But you know that's about all you need to start. Rolling Road Raceway is a really nice track to start with because it's safe. There's only one wall to worry about, so if you spin out and you hit that wall, you're out of luck. And beware that you do sign your life away if they're not responsible if you wreck. So
Right.
Because that's on you, and you can use your personal car like your daily driver, but it's not recommended.
Right.
And just make sure that you listen to your instructor, because if you don't, you will get kicked off the track. So, if you want to get into driving, that's
Okay.
tell you.
And last question for you, Michelle. What has been your most memorable experience while driving Spec Miata?
Oh God. So just so you know, I think I drove the Neon maybe 3 or 4 times on that same track before I got my Miata. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually buy my Miata. My brother bought it for me, and actually my folks bought it. My brother paid for it because we didn't have the money yet. And my folks actually found the car in Florida. They went and got it for me and drove it to the track in Savannah. Mm-hmm. And so the first time I drove the car was the day before the track days.
Oh wow!
So I'd never driven it, and like I said, it's a rear-wheel drive, and the Neon was a front-wheel drive. It was much lighter than the Neon, so there was a lot of differences that I needed to, and plus the clutch was different. So it was a completely different car than mine, but similar strategies for when you use for the Neon. So. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's completely wrong. But anyway, somehow I got used to the car. And I got on the track, and it was the first time I'd actually driven the car on the track. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I'm afraid I'm going to strip the gears, or I'm going to flip it over. And I'm like, just listen to the car. Just listen to the instructor, you'll be fine. And the first lap that I made around the track, the first set of laps that I made, I beat my best time in the Neon.
Wow.
I was like, wow. I was made for this car. That was awesome. And I just floated around the turns. It was dropped it down into third gear and went racing right around the side. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So that was very memorable. I got off the track, and my brother's like, you beat your best time. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then getting promoted to Blue Group was pretty memorable too. So
Nice.
those were pretty memorable.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Michelle.
Sure.
It's been a pleasure, and hopefully I will see you around.
Sounds good.
Take care.
All right, you too.